Hello, my crochet friend, and welcome to the next installment of the Crochet Bootcamp series, where I take you through a series of stitches and teach you how to do those stitches. Now, what you do with those stitches is entirely up to you, but remember, with great power comes great responsibility. So I only teach you how to make them. I cannot tell you what to make with them. However, I can offer some suggestions. Today's stitch is going to be a very beautiful, compacted stitch. It's not going to have a lot of holes in it, so this would be great for something like a beanie or a sweater or a shirt. You know, drop some suggestions below about what you would make with it. Blanket, pillow, the world is your oyster. So I have here a measure of worsted weight yarn. Now this is left over from the beautiful cardigan I made, and I'll pop a picture of it right up here. And this yarn is of a mustard color, and it is of a worsted weight. And I have here a 4.5 millimeter hook, which might be a little bit too small for this, but we're just going to roll with it because that's what I've got near me, and I don't want to get up. To begin, what we're going to do is start with a slip knot like we always do in every project. Bloop. Now we're going to chain a multiple of 2 stitches plus 1. So what that means is that you'll chain in increments of 2, and then once you reach the final chain count, you'll add 1 more. So we're going to do 28. If I can get my fingers situated here, and my eyebrow was itching. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, and at this point I'm going to stop counting because it annoys me when people count in crochet videos. All right, so I have my 28 stitches, and I'm going to cast on 1 more. All right, so this is what we have. We have our chain foundation. And if you've watched my previous 2 videos, you should be an expert at this by now, especially if you've been practicing. So now that we have our chain multiple of 2 stitches plus 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we'll go 1, 2, inside of this chain here, we're going to place a single crochet. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So now that we have our single crochet placed in the second chain, we're going to double crochet in the next chain. Now this is a new stitch, so let's go zoom in and go slow. So for the double crochet, we're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into that next chain. We're going to pull up a loop, and then we're going to have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop through 2 of those loops on the hook. So now we've got 2 more loops left. Pull up a loop, pull through the remaining 2. So we've just worked a double crochet. So we have our single crochet here, and then we have our double crochet there. Now we're going to single crochet in the next chain. Let's go ahead and pop that single crochet right inside. And then we're going to double crochet in the next chain. And that is going to be our pattern repeat. So let's do that again. We're going to single crochet in the next chain. And then we're going to yarn over and double crochet here in the next. And you're going to do that all the way to the end. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we're drawing towards the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and place my last double crochet in that first chain that I made. All right, and this is what we should have so far. So you have a series of single crochets and double crochets all the way down your work. So now let's go ahead and turn our work. Now when you're turning your work, you can turn it a couple different ways. And this is not something I see covered very often, so I'm going to go ahead and take a second to talk about it. You can turn your work from right to left, and what that's going to do is bring the yarn in front, right? So you see now that your yarn is coming out of the front. Or you can go this way, bringing it to the front. So you're turning it this way instead of turning it that way. And what this is going to do is it's going to take your yarn out the back, which is where you want it. So when I'm turning my work, I always turn it this way. So I have my yarn coming out the back, because I've noticed if I turn it this way and I've got the yarn coming out the front, I don't like the way it looks as much. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it this way. So the yarn is coming out the back. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and go on to row 2, and row 2 is going to be the repeat for the pattern. So what we're going to do is chain 1. So we have our chain 1, and you'll notice here now that we have this chain 1 coming out of this stitch. So we're going to skip this one. And we're going to single crochet in the first DC. So let's look and see where our DC is at. Actually, we're not going to skip that stitch because that is the first DC. Usually, if you chain 1, you'll skip a stitch, but in this case, we don't. So we can see here that if we turn our work back to the back side of what we just did, we'll see that we have a single crochet here, and here, let me pull this out. So we have our single crochet that is situated right here, and this is the top for it. So if I wanted to get into that single crochet, I would go right here. And then we have our double crochet next, right here. So if I wanted to go into that double crochet, I would go in right here. So if we keep an eye on where that top of that stitch is, and then we turn our work again, we can see that we have to go into this right here. So we're going to place a single crochet in the top of that double. And then what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in, or we're going to double crochet in the next single crochet. So our next single crochet is going to be right here. So we're going to yarn over and place a double crochet, pull through 2, pull through 2. There's our double crochet. Now we're going to single crochet in the next double crochet. So basically we're just alternating stitch pattern. So this next stitch is going to be a double crochet, because if we noticed before, we're doing single and then double. So it's going to be reversed on the backwards pass to this. So we're going to have double crochet and then single crochet. So in this double crochet, we're going to place a single. And then in the next one, it's going to be a single crochet, so we're going to place a double crochet. And that's a good way to keep track of where you are in this stitch pattern, is if you look at your next stitch, my next stitch is going to be a double crochet right here. So I know I need to place a single. So whatever you're working into is going to be the opposite of what you're going to work into that stitch. So now I have a single crochet, so now I'm going to do a double crochet. Next stitch is going to be a double, so I'm going to work a single crochet into it. And then I'm going to work a double crochet. So if you put your work down and you get lost and you're like, you pick it up and, oh my goodness, I can't remember if I worked a single or a double. There's 2 easy ways to check. You can either check the work that you've already done and check the previous stitch that you've done. So I can see here that I've done a double, so I need to do a single next. Or you can check the row below and say, okay, I have a double crochet here, so I need to work a single crochet into that stitch. And then work a double crochet. So you alternate single and double all the way to the end of the work. when I teach you a stitch pattern, I don't want to just teach you, you know, the stitches in the stitch pattern, because anybody can do that. What I want to do, or what I aim to do here, is to teach you how to read the fabric that you're making. So I found that when I was learning crochet, it was really hard for me to understand what to do if I messed up, or if I had to tick back the work or undo it, because I couldn't read my crochet. I couldn't read what was going on in the fabric that I was working into. So my goal in these tutorials is to get you to be able to look at your fabric and know exactly what you need to do next. You know, if the doorbell rings and you have to answer it and you have to put the work down and you get distracted, you'll be able to come back and look at this fabric and say, oh, okay, I know where I'm at. Instead of, you know, being hopelessly lost like I was the majority of the time when I'd have to put a crochet project down. So I highly encourage you to take a second and try to read your crochet when I'm explaining, you know, how to read the stitches. It might not seem very important. You might be more focused on trying to just get the stitches into the fabric, but I highly encourage you to take a moment and look where I'm pointing at and see if you can read the crochet as well, because that is going to serve you infinitely in your crochet journey if you can learn how to read that crochet fabric. All right, so I've placed my last double crochet, and this is what we should have so far. And you can see it, it's very dense, right? It's a very dense stitch pattern. So this is going to be a very warm fabric. It's going to be very thick. It's not going to have a lot of holes in it. And it creates these beautiful little, I like to think of them like little flowers here. And I'll go ahead and work up some more of the fabric. I'll get some height on this so you can see what this fabric looks like as it comes together. And I'll meet you right back there. All right, so I have quite a bit of length here worked up, and you can see that this turns out to be a very beautiful stitch. It is very compact, it is very dense, so you can see that there's not a lot of flex in this fabric. So if you're wanting to make something like a shirt or something wearable that you want to have a little bit of drape in it, try going up a couple hook sizes. So I used a 4.5 with the worsted weight, so try a 6mm or even a 6.5 and see if it gives you the drape that you're looking for. This, however, is going to make a very, very lovely addition to my kitchen cloths. I did choose to make it a little bit shorter than I did wide, because I have noticed that with my kitchen cloths, I like having them just the width, a little bit bigger than the width of my hand, so there's not a lot of fabric flopping around on the sides. But this is going to make a lovely addition to my homemade, handmade items in my kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe. If you have any ideas for videos, if you have any feedback for me, just go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer your questions or address your feedback. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.